If you look up how many cryptos are named Bitcoin something, you'll probably come across many forks such as Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Private, Bitcoin Unlimited, Bitcoin XT, and more. But why are there so many different versions of what seems like the same coin? In this guide, we're going to make sense of this madness. However, it's not enough to simply know what each of these Bitcoin forks are. We need to know why these Bitcoin forks came up in the first place. For that, we need to reacquaint ourselves with the scalability debate. Miners use their computing power to look for new blocks to add to the blockchain. For a transaction to be valid, it must be added to a block in the chain. This is when a problem arises, as a block in the chain has a size limit of 1 megabyte, and only so many transactions can go through at once. This was previously manageable, but as Bitcoin became more popular, block size became a bigger and bigger issue. The number of monthly transactions is increasing, and with the current 1 megabyte block size, Bitcoin can only handle about 4.4 transactions per second. Compared to some larger credit card companies clocking it at 1,400 transactions per second, 4.5 clearly won't cut it if Bitcoin goes mainstream. This introduced the replace by fee system. Suppose Alice is sending 5 Bitcoins to Bob, but the transaction is not going through because of a backlog. She can't delete the transaction because Bitcoins, once spent, can never come back. However, she could do another transaction of 5 Bitcoins with Bob, this time with transaction fees high enough to incentivize miners. As the miners put her transaction in the block, it will also overwrite the previous transaction and make it null and void. While the replace by fee system is profitable for miners, it's pretty inconvenient for users without a lot of Bitcoin. In fact, if you pay the lowest possible transaction fee, then you'll have to wait for a median time of 13 minutes for your transaction to go through. This is where the debate comes in. Block size increase works to the miner's benefit, as increased block size means more transactions, which means more fees. However, some miners believe they would be losing a large portion of the block reward as individual transaction fees will decrease. With this massive divide in the community, how do they come to a conclusion where everyone is happy? This is where forking comes in. A fork is a condition where the state of the blockchain diverges into different chains, where one chain operates by different rules than the other. You may have heard of the terms soft fork and hard fork. A soft fork is when there are backwards compatible changes made to a blockchain. This means a miner can still interact with the blockchain using their previous methods, but newer updates are available. Think of this like a basic security update on your computer. Then there are hard forks, where the state of the blockchain diverges into different chains, where one chain operates by entirely different rules than the other. A hard fork requires the users of the chain to make a choice between one chain or the other, much like in the Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash scenario. The two would not work together going forward, so the community had to make a choice. For all intents and purposes, Bitcoin Cash is still Bitcoin, but the block size is 8 megabytes instead of 1 megabyte, meaning there can be more transactions per block. This dramatically increases the possible transactions per second. It also doesn't have the replace by fee feature, meaning you won't have to pay a transaction fee to have your transaction confirmed faster. In a hard fork, the data on the new chain is a duplicate of the old chain. This means if you owned 1 Bitcoin before the hard fork occurred, you now own 1 unit of currency on the old chain and 1 unit of currency on the new chain, Bitcoin Cash. Blockchain forks are a way of allowing the community to change certain aspects of the rules while maintaining the security that comes with a long chain. Forks can occur for many reasons, be it technical changes, cultural differences, or what different developers value. In a perfect world, soft forks would allow a network to stay completely intact while continually adding new features. But in the case of a major difference like Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, that may not always be possible.